Come on, right now this is biggest fight in boxing. Come on, third fight for us, Canelo, everybody knows Canelo, just it's the biggest gift for people who really like boxing. Everybody's different situation, different way, different everything, come on. Last fight in Canelo, he looked different, not like a 168, 75, no, because different situation.
This is a guy whose shots sounded like gunfire in the ring, so his opinions, they carry weight. Now picture this. Someone asked Triple G about a dream matchup, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence "Bud" Crawford. Golovkin just smiles that ice-cold smile, then drops it plain and simple.
It looked like he's improving and getting better.
Marcos, I told you just, every opponent gives you different, every fight is different.
So you think
I don't feel like, more power, more speed. No, he stayed the same, just.
Canelo, very strong, I know. I feel his punches. He break body, he break will. Crawford, he very smart, very sharp, but smaller. He never fights someone like Canelo. That's Golovkin in a nutshell, respectful but brutally honest. He even calls Crawford dangerous, saying Bud has that rare ability to make elite fighters look ordinary. But then comes the killer line.
No way Crawford can do what Golovkin did. Golovkin's a different animal. Golovkin's a 160-pounder, very strong, very dominant, big puncher. And Crawford doesn't have that. Crawford has great skills, but doesn't have that punch to keep Canelo off of him. Golovkin had that punch and that strength to keep Canelo off of him, to keep him from...
The kind only Gennady could deliver. You cannot outthink a truck when the truck is coming 100 miles per hour. Translation? In Golovkin's world, size and raw power matter, and at 168 pounds, Canelo is still that freight train. But here's what makes GGG's take so interesting. He doesn't shut the door completely.
No, if Crawford wins, obviously, I said up to this point, Canelo is the number one for me. But if Crawford wins, oh yeah, of course, Crawford has to be number one. Fundamentally, boxing-wise. Now, can he draw like Canelo? I don't think.
He leaves a crack open for drama. If Crawford survives 6 rounds, maybe surprise, maybe Canelo tired, maybe Crawford find answer. That's classic Golovkin. Straight talk, no hype, no sugarcoating. Bottom line, he leans Canelo by punishment. But he respects Bud enough to admit there's a tiny chance for something shocking.
I think showed us that Crawford doesn't have that one-punch knockout, first of all. He's going to have to put punches together. And he can put punches together 147, 140, and they're going to be quick punches. With Canelo, they're going to be a little bit slower. So Canelo's going to be...
And here's why Golovkin's words carry real weight. He's not talking from the couch. He lived through the Canelo storm. Twice. First fight, Triple G was the hunter, stalking forward like a man collecting debts, pumping that jab and piling up rounds. Most fans still say he got robbed that night. Second fight, whole different story. Canelo flipped the script, stood toe-to-toe, took the center, and fought fire with fire.
On counterattacks, but Triple G kept pressing forward, landing jabs that pierced through even Canelo's tight defense. Despite the thunderous punches exchanged, Golovkin never backed.
That's when Golovkin realized he wasn't just facing a flashy Mexican star, he was trading with a brick wall that slipped shots like a veteran. Even Golovkin had to tip his hat, later saying, "He not run, he fight me Mexican style." Respect, that's the point. Canelo didn't just become a superstar, he earned his stripes in blood against one of the toughest men alive. Every exchange in those wars was history written on leather. So when Triple G smirks and warns Crawford, it's not just talk. It's a man who knows firsthand what that storm feels like.
Just try to establish that lead arm. Kell Brook tries to throw the jab and then walks into a punch. Crawford was able to parry, deflect, and throw the jab at the same time with the same arm.
He knows Canelo isn't only about raw power, he's about patience, layers, and that quiet confidence of a fighter who believes he's got all night to break you down. Crawford may have the brain, but Golovkin's story is the reminder. Before you can solve the puzzle, you've got to survive the storm. Triple G gave his verdict blunt, cold, and heavy like one of his jabs. But then we swing the camera to Kell Brook, and that's a man you have to hear out. Why? Because he's been in there with both Golovkin and Crawford. He's lived that pain, he's felt both storms up close. At first, Kell's all laid back, joking about fatherhood and enjoying the quiet life. But the second someone drops Canelo versus Crawford into the convo, the mood changes. He gets serious real quick. Brook admits it straight. The natural pick is Canelo. And he knows why, because moving up in weight isn't just grabbing a burger and walking into a new division. When he jumped from welterweight to face Golovkin, it wasn't just a size difference, it was a reality check. Middleweight monsters don't just hit harder, they change the way the fight feels, the way your body responds. And against elite beasts like Canelo or GGG, that's a whole different dimension. But here's the twist. But Kell doesn't dismiss Crawford either. In fact, he goes out of his way to call Bud very, very, very good, sharp, crafty, and dangerous. The real question Brook raises isn't about skill, it's about legs. He points to Mayweather's win over Canelo, reminding us that Floyd's movement, the constant angles and footwork, that's what neutralized Canelo back in the day. But Bud? He's not that same kind of mover. Crawford doesn't run laps. He sets his feet, he downloads data, he picks his moments. He's more chess master than track star, and that's where Kell drops the gem. Canelo's seen movers before slick guys, fast guys, boxers on the back foot. But Crawford's brand of pressure, that calculated patience, that sniper's timing, it might give him openings nobody else has found. And here's where it gets spicy. Kell Brook isn't speaking like a pundit on the sidelines. He's got the scars to back it up. Think back to when he fought Crawford. Brook came in sharp, popping that jab, looking crisp, even tagging Bud clean a couple of times early. For a brief moment, fans were whispering, "Hold up. Kell might actually be onto something here." But then Crawford did what Crawford always does. He downloaded the data in real time, like watching a dial-up connection suddenly switch to high speed. Mid-fight, he flipped southpaw, recalibrated, and within a couple rounds it was over. One precise right hand short-circuited Brook's legs, folded him in place, and that was that. Surgical, cold. Almost eerie how fast the momentum flipped. That's exactly what Kell means when he says Crawford isn't a runner like Mayweather. He's not circling the ring all night. Bud's more like a hunter. He stalks, he sets traps, and then he detonates. And that's why Brook's words carry extra weight. He felt those adjustments in real time. He knows what it's like when Crawford plants his feet, starts seeing the gaps, and turns openings into endings. So after Kell Brook gave us the real breaking down size, legs, and why Crawford ain't no Mayweather clone, we slide straight into Bob Arum's world. And let me tell you, Uncle Bob didn't come to whisper. He grabbed the mic like it was karaoke night, except instead of singing, he was roasting. Arum lit into Canelo, saying straight up, "This isn't the same Canelo chasing legacy fights. This is the version that looks more like he's protecting a trust fund than his crown." And let's be honest, he's got a point. How many times have we tuned in hyped for a mega showdown, only to watch Canelo stroll through 12 rounds like he's clocking in for overtime? Arum drops an old school gem too, reminding everybody that legends like Sugar Ray Leonard and Oscar de la Hoya didn't have the luxury of coasting. Their pay-per-view numbers depended on fireworks, so they had no choice but to bring drama, blood, and sweat to the table. That's the contrast back then. Gladiators had to perform. Today, sometimes it feels like we're getting PowerPoint presentations with jabs. So yeah, Arum's basically voicing what fans feel. If Canelo is cashing checks instead of throwing bombs, then Crawford might not be walking into a war. He might just be stepping into a bank vault. And that's why Bob Arum's words land like a jab to the ribs, because he's basically warning us. Crawford can't just stroll into 168 and expect to look like the same slick assassin. Yeah, extra muscle brings strength, but it also taxes your reflexes. And against Canelo, half a beat slow is all it takes. Either you slip the hook, or you're staring at the lights wondering why the ceiling's spinning. Crawford built his empire on timing, rhythm, and making elite fighters look like they left their vision at home. But at super middleweight, with that extra weight strapped to his frame, it's a different game. He's not dancing in the same shoes anymore. Meanwhile, for Canelo, 168 is home. He doesn't have to figure it out. He doesn't have to experiment. This is his living room. Every inch of the division belongs to him. The power, the stamina, the patience, all perfectly balanced to his body. He's not adapting, he's executing. So if Bud steps into that jungle even a fraction slower, Arum's warning could turn prophetic. Canelo won't just test him, he'll punish every ounce of that borrowed muscle. And that's the big question. Which Canelo shows up? The hungry lion chasing legacy, or the check-cashing businessman? Either way, you already know we're gonna break it all down right here. So lock in, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so we keep cooking this fight talk for the crew.